Hi, my name is Emma.
Hi, my name is Xavier, and we would like to welcome you to Curious Conversations, a podcast for kids, by kids.
It's a podcast where we have conversations with adults and kids from all walks of life to learn about their passions and what inspires them, which we know will inspire us and hopefully inspire you too.
Why us, you might ask? Well, we love to ask questions. We are twins, and we just turned 11, and we have over a decade of experience being kids and having a point of view on many topics.
We thought a podcast would be a great way to learn something new and explore our interests in a different way, so we thought, why don't we give it a try? On today's episode, we welcome Julianne Costigan. She's the CEO and creative director of Julianne Costigan Executive Fashion Consulting.
Talking to someone in the fashion world is new for us. I'm excited to learn more about what Julianne does.
It's our second mother-daughter interview. It's not the same as when we interviewed Emily and Anya together, but earlier this summer we interviewed Georgia and heard lots about her daughter, Julianne. So we thought she'd be interesting to interview. Xavier, can you tell us more about Julianne?
Sure, Emma. Based in Toronto, Julianne is a fashion stylist who does work with women and men in all walks of life, including a few celebrities. Julianne is known for her ability to combine the quality of luxury brands with the ease and accessibilities of mainstream fashion. Julianne's approach to style allows every client she works with to achieve a look that is both meaningful and effortless while reflecting their individuality. Hi.
Hi, thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
We're good. We're doing good. So it's really nice to meet you. We've heard lots about you. When we had your mom on the show earlier this summer, it was amazing.
Oh, well, I am thrilled that you've asked me to be a part of this. I listened to the conversation you had with my mom, and you're both so insightful and asked great questions. And I loved her podcast, so hopefully I can be as good as she was.
And we want to tell you, we think Baby George is so cute.
Oh, thank you. I think he's pretty cute too. He's just started to sort of say mama and dada. I don't think he really knows that he's saying it, but he's slurring the words, and I'm thinking that he knows that he's talking to me. So it's been a fun summer with him. But yeah, he's pretty cute.
How old is he now?
He is coming on 8 months. On August 29th, he'll be 8 months, yes.
You own a fashion styling firm and you're a stylist yourself. So how would you explain your job to kids like us?
Well, I get to work with women and men and kids, actually, and I help them pick out the best outfit that suits them and makes them feel good, and, helps them sort of what I like to create a personal brand, so that when they step out, in the workplace or go to school, or if they're on an advertisement, that's when I work with kids often, that they're dressed in a way that's going to communicate what the brand wants them to look like. But I also work with celebrities for red carpet events and TV shows, movies. So there's lots of different ways that I style women and men. And then the other side of styling is working with real women and real men to choose the right wardrobe that ultimately makes them feel really confident so that they can go to work and do the job at the best they can. So those are sort of three different ways that I do my job. And that's sort of what I love most about my job, is that I get to do so many different types of work. No day is the same. It's really fun. I love what I do.
So why would some people need a stylist like you?
Well, for example, I've worked with many celebrities, a couple of which I think you guys would know. Demi Lovato is someone I've worked with. Meghan Trainor. Do you guys like her music or know about her? Yeah. Most of those people hired me when they were going to an award show called the Much Music Video Awards. Now I think they're iHeartRadio Awards. So they need someone like me to make it all happen and put it all together so that they can just try on a great outfit and wear it and not have to think about it. So that's why a celebrity would hire me. And then, when I'm working with real women and real men, like maybe like your parents and maybe like you guys one day, a lot of women and men, they don't love to shop or they don't know what suits their body. And so they hire someone like me to help them figure out how they can buy new clothes or repurpose clothes that are actually still inside their closet and, feel really confident when they're wearing them, because that ultimately impacts how they perform at work. I don't know, have you ever had an experience where you've put on an outfit and you felt really good, or a new pair of running shoes and you just feel faster because they're new?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go on. I want to hear about it. What have you worn where you felt really good about yourself?
Well, I got these really cool high top running shoes. And I just felt like really, really, really faster when I'm wearing those. I also really love bow ties.
Awesome.
I don't know why. It's just when we always have a party and we have to like get dressed up. If I can, I wear a bow tie.
Awesome. I love hearing that, and it makes you feel just kind of good and special, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it makes me feel amazing.
I've always struggled with like regular girl clothes. Like especially dresses and skirts. I never really liked them. I mean, kind of growing up with two brothers, I've grown like accustomed to would be traditional boy clothes, and I've never really minded. If I was gonna wear something casual, I normally like wear a t-shirt and shorts or anything like that. But if I would want to wear something to dress up, that would probably suit me best. Probably like a pantsuit for girls, like I've seen in photos. Recently, my Pink's daughter, Willow.
I love that.
But we don't know where to find it, so.
Well, you're speaking to the right person. I can help you find that.
Thank you.
I'll help you find a great suit.
That'd be great.
And you should know that I love wearing suiting. I actually feel better in a suit than I do in a dress. And I think you saw maybe on my website I was wearing a white suit.
I like that
there.
Yeah.
And that would be what I like best too. So I think what I try and do is help people, even like yourself. See, you've already told me you can't find a suit. So then I help you find a suit so that when you go to a party or an event where you want to dress up, you've got something in your closet that makes you feel really good about yourself. And I think that's really great that you both already know what you feel awesome in, because I work with adults who don't know how to answer that question. And sometimes it's all about just helping them find that piece or find what looks good on them. I help them try those clothes on, and then I'm sure you both have had this feeling, but it's a feeling, right? When you put something on, you look at yourself, you say, oh, yeah, I feel good. You can feel the difference. And so that's why I love my job, really, is because I get to help people feel really good about themselves, and that makes me feel good.
Yeah. So why did you start your company?
Well, I started my company out of university. Actually, I was in my third year of university, and I was already working for another stylist. And so because I have an entrepreneurial mom, she helped me decide that it made the most sense if I was going to do this, hopefully for the rest of my life, that I should start a company. So I started it, and I worked and I assisted other people. And then when I graduated university, I decided I had enough experience that I wanted to try doing it on my own. And so Toronto, as a city, it has a lot of advertising type work. And I did that for quite a few years, probably 5 to 6 years. And although I love it, I really am fulfilled by working with real women and men. And so about 2.5 years ago, I decided to kind of leave that type of work behind and not focus as much on it, and really put the focus on finding the women and men who needed my help. And so I ultimately started my company because I have personally always had a relationship with my clothes. Similar to how you've just described, I knew that when I wore a certain thing, it made me feel better. So when I was having to make a speech or do something that I was nervous about, I turned to my clothes to help me give myself the confidence that I needed. And a lot of women and men don't do that. And so I realized there was a need for it. So I just started talking about it on Instagram more. And through word of mouth, people started, asking me for their help. And I worked with one client at a time until I built up a roster of clientele that I now service. And I have a team of girls who help service them under my methodology of styling and my approach. And that is that I think, having great style leads to confidence, and confidence leads to success. So that's why I started it, and it's just grown, and a lot of it has been digital over the last year because obviously none of us have been able to see each other the same way we used to. So it's kind of a ever-changing and growing company, but it's really fun, and I love working with people. So, yeah.
So how has your business had to adapt during COVID and for online?
Well, I think I'm now able to see clients again, but for, a year and a half, I wasn't really able to. So I was meeting with them on Zoom and helping them purge in their closet over Zoom. And I was really using Zoom a lot. But through Instagram, I was getting a lot of requests and messages about people having a hard time online shopping and not knowing what size to buy, and there's too many options. How do I, choose what I need? I don't know, things are more casual now. What should I be buying? And so I decided to start what I am now calling the Digital Style Guide, or the DSG, which is a downloadable PDF where we put together a shopping list. We do mood boards. We style all the pieces in ways so people can see that, if I buy this piece, I can wear it these 3 or 4 or 5 different ways. And we have beauty recommendations, we have discount codes, and then we meet over Zoom once a month and we talk about everything that's in it. And I help these women find the right pieces for them out of the guide. And so this was started actually in October of last year. So we're coming up on 1 year of our digital style guide, and it's a membership. So we've been growing it each month. New women join, and they become a part of this style community where I help them become better online shoppers and find clothes that work for them. And so that's a huge way that my business changed during the pandemic. And it's been a really fun product to use and create each month. And it's almost like a magazine. A digital magazine is what it's kind of like. It's not also about buying everything in the guide, but sometimes I'll have a blue blazer in the guide. And then someone who's got the guide will say, hey, I have a blue blazer in my closet and I never thought to wear it, how you've styled it. But I have all those items. I have a white t-shirt, I have a blue blazer. And so they're actually able to kind of shop their closet and they don't even have to buy anything. So that's also a really fun way to use the guide.
So we saw that on your website that you work with Bianca Andreescu. How does someone like that reach out to you?
Well, you know what? Was it last year or 2 years ago? I can't even remember how long ago that was. But when she won the U.S. Open, I reached out to her. I found someone who knew someone and had a contact. And I emailed her and I said, you're going to have a lot of press and interviews, and I want to help you, find the right clothes so that you don't have to worry about what you're going to wear. And it took a lot of emailing back and forth, and someone from her team responded. And so I was able to show up on one of the interview days with a rack of clothing, and I helped her find pieces. And that's sort of how we built our relationship. No one reached out to me, I think, as an entrepreneur, just like you do when you send emails hoping to, get people to be on your podcast. I do the same thing. I say, hey, I'd love to style you, and I think you need me, and this is why you need me. And sometimes people are open to it and work with you, and other times, they don't. But I never give up, and if I really want to work with someone, then I keep trying. And so that's how I started working with her. And she's such a lovely person, and obviously such a professional athlete. It was really cool to be able to meet her and work with her. Do you play tennis? Do you guys like tennis?
I like playing with my friends outside, but I don't play professional tennis.
Yeah, me either.
But we kind of did that, like, on our podcast. We reached out to a Lego master, and we didn't know who he was, and we just asked him if he wanted to be on the podcast, and he said yes.
That episode is out now, so as we get bigger as a podcast, we have to start, like, stepping into people. Like, we have to start emailing people we don't know as well, like a contact through a contact through a contact, like you did.
I know,
so.
It's kind of nerve-wracking, right? But at the end of the day, what do you have to lose, right? All they can say is no. And I say, I always think no means just not right now. I don't like to take no as a definite answer. It's just maybe not the right time, but maybe in 2 months or 2 years, they'll say yes. And so you have to keep trying.
We think you have worked with some moms we know. So our friends Angelina and Jovan are in our class, and their moms are, I have a little trouble saying these names, but
Marina and Corinne.
Yes, I do know Marina. She owns Raffi Jewellers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so with her husband, and so I was actually doing photo shoots. They have a magazine called MODALINA, and so they hired me to do photo shoots for the magazine using jewelry from Raffi. Yeah, so that's how we have worked together. And then when she was attending the Grammys right before COVID, actually, I went over and I helped her find dresses for all of the events that she was attending and a suit. And yeah, so we have worked together. That's so cool that you go to school with her kids. Such a small world, isn't it?
Yeah, I imagine it was really fun to work with all your clients. How does it work when someone like Angelina's mom or like Marina or come to you? Do you have to buy the clothes? Do they buy the clothes? How does that work?
What happens is usually I go and I buy the clothes and I bring them. And then I end up, whatever they decide to keep, I would then invoice or bill them for the cost of the clothing. But then also sometimes when I'm working with, women who maybe are attending the Grammys or celebrities who are going to places where the clothing is going to be on the red carpet and it's going to be mentioned on Instagram and on TV, designers will actually lend them the clothing. So they don't get to keep it, but they get to wear it. And in exchange, they have to mention the brand so that the brand gets credit, and it's sort of a way to grow the business and to get the name of the designer out there.
So kind of like publicity.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So it depends. Every sort of job is different, but generally I'm given a budget, and then we have to work within that budget to find the right dress and shoes.
How long does it normally take to style a person?
Well, it depends. When I'm working with someone for the first time, I like to come over to their house to see what's in their closet, what they feel most confident wearing right now, and what they don't feel good in. And that's how I try and figure out what they're missing in their closet or what would suit them most for an event. So that takes a few hours, and then I put together mood boards and we do a lot of brainstorming. So it's not just like I go out to the mall and I just start shopping. Like there's a lot of thought that's put into the whole process and getting to the final dress or the final suit or wardrobe or whatever we buy. And if it's, a client that I haven't worked with before, it could be, up to a week really of spending time with them, and then at the mall, researching, trying to find the right pieces, or working with designers to custom make something. So it really depends. There's no exact time.
So when do they tell you if they want something custom made? What's the difference? Like if you give them a white blazer, how would they want it custom made? How would that work?
Well, they might say, I'd really like to wear, white suit, and there may be no white suits available, or their body we have to buy a suit and then tailor it so much with a seamstress that it doesn't make sense to buy something in a store. It might make sense to just custom make it so it fits them perfectly. It really depends. When you get something custom made, it's a little bit more expensive because there's more work put into it because it's exactly fit for you. So it really just depends on, the client's body, their budget, and where they're going. 'Cause sometimes you want something that's also totally unique. You don't want to show up with the chance of wearing, the same thing as someone else. And so by custom making it, you get to, make it your own.
So what is the time that you failed at something or it didn't really quite work out the way you planned, and what did you learn from that experience?
Well, if I'm speaking about work, I think sometimes you misquote a job, so you think it's going to take you less time, and then all of a sudden you've spent way more time than you planned, and so you don't end up actually making money on the job. That might be one circumstance where I failed, and then you have to go back and track your hours and think, okay, if I'm doing this again, how am I going to change it? When I think about where I've failed in my life, I go back to when I was competitively Irish dancing. I practiced so hard and I could do something perfectly, and then you have to go to a competition and you get up on stage and you freeze, or you mess up, or you do something wrong and you put all that hard work into it and you failed. And so what that taught me is that maybe I wasn't working as hard as I should have been. I think Irish dancing taught me a lot about working hard and how good it feels when the hard work pays off and you win a competition or something like that. And that has really helped me in my work and my career, because I have a strong work ethic now. And I think I learned that from having to put so much work into dancing. And
so you mentioned that you work with both women and men, which is great because we think our dad needs some help. It's working with a man different than a woman.
In some ways it's similar, because I think at the end of the day, it's about helping every person, man or woman, feel confident in what they're wearing. But I think with men, there are less body shapes and variety of clothing. I think with women, there's dresses, skirts, there's shirts, there's blouses, there's, heels, there's flats. There's so many more options, and so it can be harder. Whereas with men, I think it's about tailoring something so that it really fits them right. And that's, I think, what most men don't always do. And so I help them find the best brands and the best pieces so that they feel confident.
Could you style people for like all these different events, or do you normally style them for what people would say as like a dressing up or something, or do you style people to look casual and things like that?
Yes, I style them for both, actually. I actually hear that more people need help with everyday sort of fashion than they do with parties and events, because Xavier, you already said, when you're going to an event, you put on your bow tie, you feel good, that that's like your go-to piece. Emma, you like a suit, so that. So when you're going to an event, you wear those things. But it's the everyday getting up, playing with friends, going to the grocery store, having lunch with a friend, that sometimes you get tired of just wearing jeans and a t-shirt, or it doesn't feel special enough, but you still want to feel special on those days. So we actually get more requests for people wanting help with everyday style versus special events.
I think that's true because, especially I think with COVID, a lot of the days felt similar, especially in my eyes, because it was like get up, online learning, go outside and play with the friends that you can play with. And there was a lot of variety, and I found myself wearing the same clothes over and over again. I just didn't feel that it was special, but it was the same. If just changing up between a white t-shirt and a black t-shirt just makes it feel different, and that's sometimes better.
Yes, that's actually something I talk about a lot. So I help women and men find their uniform, and what I mean by uniform is just the outfit combination that they feel best in. So for me, it's jeans, a t-shirt, and a blazer. My uniform is that combination of items, but then I change it up every day. So sometimes I wear colorful blazer and a white t-shirt. Other times I wear colorful t-shirt and a black blazer. And so it becomes easy to pick out what you're going to wear in the morning because you know what your uniform is, but then you can make it fun by choosing sparkly blazer or black blazer. You don't want to just feel happy and confident for those special events. So I think it's important to put effort into what you wear every single day and wear the things that make you feel your best, right?
We were, again, looking through your website because it was quite interesting, and we saw you one of your services is closet interviews. That sounds kind of weird. So what is it?
So a closet interview is like when I would come over to your house and I would say, okay, Emma and Xavier, take me through your closet. And then you would go through and you would say, okay, well, I've been hanging on to this t-shirt since I was 3 because it was my favorite t-shirt when I was 3 and I wore it every day and I feel attached to it, but I'm never going to wear it again, but I don't want to get rid of it. And often people have lots of clothes in their closet that they're attached to that they don't wear. And so I help them get rid of things that they don't need to own anymore and keep a few things that are really special. And then also identify what they're missing. So then I help them say, okay, you need a blazer because what you're telling me is that you want to, wear this type of outfit, yet you don't have the right pieces to create it. So it's basically like editing someone's closet. And then also sometimes I say, hey, these are great jeans and I know you don't wear them anymore, but what if we cut them into shorts? Would you wear them if we cut them into shorts? So it's also making suggestions how we can reinvent things in your closet.
That's a really cool thing. I like that kind of, like you said, editing your closet. I think that explains it perfectly. I had pajama pants, and I was changing to go in the pool. I think this is grade 4, the first online learning, if I'm correct. And so we got our dog Maverick. He was just a puppy at the time, and it was a very thin kind of fabric, very airy. So I left him on the floor, and he ripped a giant hole between like maybe the knee and the quad. Mm-hmm. So my neighbor, he cut them into shorts for me.
Perfect. See?
Yeah, I still wear them.
Yeah.
And now I can wear them in the summer without being very hot.
Yeah, and it feels good to also kind of repurpose something and reinvent it, right? And now what you may have thrown out, you've made it into something new.
I may have read this wrong on your website, but you said you had a mobile app. Is that your PDF or is it something different? And if you have the mobile app, how does it work?
So we are developing a mobile app right now. But at the moment, we use an app that exists that is similar to what we're creating, but we're doing it different. And what this does is we digitize people's closets. So we go in and we take photos of every item in someone's closet. And we show them how they can wear all the items in their closet without actually having to be there, because we can digitally log into their closet and style things for them.
That's
and then
a really smart idea.
Yeah, and so then people, I have clients who maybe email me or text me in the evening and say, I've got a really important meeting that just came up and I don't know what to wear. Can you help me figure out what to wear? And so we can actually go into their closet, put an outfit together, and boom, there you go. They've got the help they need, and I don't even have to place a phone call or come over to their house. I can easily do it. So that's what we're doing with the current app that we're using and the app that we're developing right now.
Who or what inspires you?
Well, my clients inspire me. But I think my mom has always been a very big inspiration for me. She has always loved fashion, and she introduced me to fashion. And I see how hard she works on her business every day. And, she really inspires me to do the same, because I think as an entrepreneur, if you have a vision for something you want that's down the line, long term, you have to work every day at it to make it happen, right? I've seen my mom and many other entrepreneurs in my life work hard at things, and it does pay off eventually, and that feels really good. So I think that inspires me to continue working hard every single day. And yeah, I would say my mom for sure. That's the person who inspires me.
Your mom says the same about you.
I know. I listened to the podcast. She mentioned me, which is so sweet. But, I think we have a special relationship, and we help each other when we need it. Just on Sunday, actually, I was coming home from the cottage, and I was doing a big photo shoot yesterday, and I was a little bit overwhelmed with trying to get everything done with George and all this sort of stuff. And so she drove down at 6:00 at night from Waterloo down to Toronto and helped me put all these outfits together and pack them up, put them in my car. And, that's the kind of thing we do for each other, and we want to be great.
before we end, is there any questions you want to ask us?
Yes, I have so many questions for you, but I'll try and keep them to a minimum. So, who's your dream guest, and what's the future of your podcast? What does it look like?
We have this list to be on the podcast, and I'm only gonna name like one or two, but a couple of them that we have on is someone named Dave Filoni, the creator of Star Wars.
Wow.
And a couple more, and I feel like if we continue what we're doing right now, we might get that.
I think you will too.
I think my dream guest would be Pink and her daughter Willow, because I just look up to Pink so much. She's worked so hard. I look up to her very much. And where I see the podcast going, I think first I kind of want to figure out how to get a sponsorship. I don't know how to do that, what to get sponsored by, because I don't know. I just think that'd be cool. So
I think that both of those people, are definitely achievable. And you know what? My piece of advice would be that, have you reached out to them on Instagram? Have you sent them a direct message?
No, I haven't yet, but I've tagged them. Yeah, tagged them.
You should send them a direct message and you should not just send one. You should send a couple. Send one, leave it for a week, see if they respond. Keep going, because I bet you they would at least respond. But I could see them coming on your podcast for sure.
Thank you.
I think it would happen, and you'd be surprised at what happens when you just send a direct message. And you know who's taught me that? My mom. She sends messages to famous people all the time, and they respond to her. And we've done a lot of really cool things because she's just sent the message, right? They've got nothing to lose. You never know. I bet you they'd feel privileged to be on your podcast.
We normally email, so do you think doing the Instagram would be better to start off than email?
I think that it's hard. It would be hard to find Pink's email. And I think
that's what I think too.
With a direct message, when I'm trying to get a hold of someone, even in my line of work, and if they're, famous or have a platform, I send a direct message, because they might have a team managing their Instagram, but they also might see it themselves. So I think you've got nothing to lose. You should. I do think sending an Instagram message is a good way to start, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being on this episode.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun, and I am thrilled to be one of your interview guests. And I think there are lots of big things happening for both of you, including special guests and sponsorships. So it's just a matter of time.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Bye.
See you later.
Wow, that was a fantastic interview. I just want to go dress up in something very fancy right now.
I love how she did closet interviews for regular women. That's really cool.
What I really liked about the interview is that how she talked about all the different styles of people and showing them how it could be fancy, but also shows them in their own way who they are and what type of person they are. You don't have to just wear a basic old black suit or white dress. For girls and boys, you can wear different colored dresses, different type of styles of the dress, or different type of suits and different type of styles of suits.
I agree. I'm excited she offered to help me find a suit. Now I just need to find a place to wear it. Thank you for listening, and I know all the shows you listen to probably say this, but please rate the podcast and download the episode. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram. That'll be in the show notes. And if you want to say hi to us, we'd love to connect with you.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Curious Conversations.
Bye!